Hey, what's going on? This is episode 331 of the IT in the D Show. We got a great guest lined up. He's the MEDC, that's the Michigan Economic Development Corp for those keeping score at home. He's the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Vice President, Fred Molnar. He's talking about, I guess there's thousands of high-tech startups across the state, satellite companies. We always thought it was just like batteries and software, but no, there's a ton of stuff going on, stuff I never even heard of. So going to have a really, really fun time talking to Fred, and should be a great show.
Cool.
And hey, this show is brought to you by our friends at Wave. Are you tired of chasing down payments for your small business
Yes.
with Wave's easy
Yes,
to use
I am.
invoicing software? Hint, hint, wink, wink. You can customize your invoices, look professional, and get paid faster for your work. Use Wave's recurring invoicing feature. Hint, hint, wink, wink, so that you can sit back and relax and get back to doing what you love. Create your account at Wave Apps. That's WAVE apps, apps.com/IT in the D to get started with 100% free and unlimited invoicing. That's waveapps.com/IT in the D.
I'm so checking it out.
Dave, you may fire when ready.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Following program is intended for mature audiences.
I'm Wyatt, that's Gary, you're Bob, and you're Dave. This is the IT and the D Show.
This is Max Headroom. And what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
This is Billy D. Williams. Bob and Dave and I are enjoying a Colt 45 right now. And remember, IT in the D, it works every time.
Where do you guys think you are?
The Library of Congress?
Detroit? Beyond the sun?
Any of those right?
Take him to Detroit. No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come! Shut up!
Hey guys, it's Time Off, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the IT&D Show.
Hi, this is Christy Swanson, and you're listening to the IT in the D Show. And Bob and Dave touch my hoo-hoos.
This is Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley, and the only two guys I hate more than Dinesh are Bob and Dave. Suck it, guys.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to IT in the D Show. No mercy.
I may have to wipe the geek off.
Hi, this is David Kay, the voice of Professor Xavier. Storm, come here, Storm. Sit on my lap, Storm.
You're listening to IT in the D.
Are we at a break yet?
Hey everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. You're listening to IT in the D. And if you want to get your money's worth, stay right here. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
This is the ladies' man.
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to IT in the D. All you nerds out there.
Nerds.
Nerds!
What is a nerd?
Hi, this is Ogre. You listen to a bunch of nerds on the IT in the D? Nerds!
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Hey, Detroit, this is Anthony Michael Hall. You're listening to my buddies Bob and Dave on IT in the D.
Hi, it's Count Chocula, and you're listening to IT in the D. What the hell did I do?
Hey, what up? This is Jay Muse, and you're listening to the IT and D Show. Snooch to the nooch. Listen, Muse, Snoogans.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Pump Pump. The IT and the D Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
This is Robert Hayes, the Ted Striker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at the Magumbo bar, I'm listening to the IT and the D Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat stick.
Hi, this is Jeremy London from Mallrats, and I'm just wondering, how did I go from Hot Floridian Sex with Brandy spinning to the IT and D Show?
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the IT and the D Show. Tough guy. Ho!
Dig, you IT geeks. This is Dre DeMatteo from Sons of Anarchy. You are listening to IT and the D.
Skeptical Dave is skeptical.
Hello, everybody. This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Man. I'm a techie. I'm a nerd, fellow podcaster. My favorite podcast is IT and the D.
Hi, this is Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science.
So,
Bob and Dave, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do.
Loaded for speed! Sir, had you better buckle up? Buckle
Limitless, ludicrous speed. Go!
Thank you for hanging out. This is episode 331 of the one and only IT and the D Show broadcasting. Are we back in Studio One? We weren't.
We are. We're home. Chewy, we're home.
I feel comfy. I feel comfy at the end of the table here. Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. This is Bob, the sales guy, that doing the worst Chewbacca impersonation ever. Dave, the geek. Randy, I do the Twitters. Walker is doing the Twitter. Oh my! I said your last. See, I did. I forgot. I'm just kidding. Find us online.
Lack of combobulation.
That too. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Randy used to always say, why do you only say my last name and no one else's? So I just did a pause for like probably a good year.
At least. Yeah.
Find us online, itandthed.com. Do us a favor, give us a like on the socials and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Yep. So we've got our event Thursday night, which is this Thursday night, not last Thursday night because I'm a moron and scheduled it wrong. I feel like I owned that appropriately. We will be at Detroit City Distillery. And then next month, which will be the third Thursday, we're going to try a new venue, fun little hangout called Woodbridge Pub. Great little spot.
It's great. I go, Dave says, we're going to go to Woodbridge. I go, where'd you get drunk there last night? He goes, I'm not that shallow. First Facebook post is, we're wasted, and it's at Woodbridge Pub with Remy.
And who posted that?
Remy. But still.
Not me. Remy.
But you were there.
Oh, well, yeah, I was there. Well, I told you what happens. Because last week's episode, we were bitching about trying to find venues. And so I walked up to the bar, and I'm ordering a drink. And the bartender goes, hey, man, he's like, I listen to your show. And I'm like, and that's always okay, why conversation. And he was like, no.
That's kind of cool, by the way.
Yeah. And he was like, you guys were just bitching about, needing, venues to do stuff. Why don't you do one of your events here?
You can't say no to that.
And then 2 seats down was the owner of the bar who went, I'm sorry, what event would you like to do here? And I was like, it's this networking group thing. I'm like, it's basically we're going to bring some nerds in who like to drink and hang out and talk. And he was like, yeah, you should do that here. What's the date? And he went in the back, grabbed his book.
No, it's perfect. I haven't been there in a while. No, it's a good call. Seriously, if there's a bartender to listen to this, we're doing that. We're doing an event. And they're not charging us $200 an hour just to be in their lobby.
Nope.
No, I'm good.
Nah,
I'm good.
Screw everything about you, Bolarama or whatever the hell you are.
Yeah, exactly.
So, dude, I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. This first topic, dude, you want Terminators? This is how you get Terminators.
No, it's not even. It's worse. So Dave's talking about. It's from the Independent, and scientists create first living robots in major breakthrough.
Made out of animal cells.
Hold on, they're neither a traditional robot nor a known species of animal. It's a new class of artifact, a living programmable organism.
What they call it, a xenobot, if I recall correctly, because xeno meaning alien, bot meaning Terminator, and they've already and I don't know how far down in the article you read, they followed the little program task. Oh yeah, push this little pebble around and you push this little thing around, and then they started to learn and they started to coordinate and cooperate. You want Terminators? This is how you get Terminators.
Is it like when the three of them and they created the new language and knocked the other
Google
one out?
AIs? Yeah.
I guess the only good news is they've taken cells from frog embryos and turned them into a machine that can be programmed as they wish.
That worked out great in Jurassic Park. It was it was the frog.
But they're just mutations.
Yeah, it was the frog DNA. There's not a tried and true history of why not to do this. But cool.
Wasn't that a Roddy Piper film? Hell Comes to Frogtown, one of the trauma movies, from the early 80s.
It might have been, yeah.
I don't understand what they would do other than military or sex. That's about the only things that I could think.
Talking about putting little pockets on them so they can carry medicine directly to where they need to go. If you want these frog bots inside
what's wrong
your
with
body.
people? Oh, inside your body, small.
Yeah.
Yeah, initially they're very, very small. They're like nanobots.
They'll carry medicine directly to the cells affected.
I don't know. It worked in with Martin Short.
Oh, right.
What the hell movie was that? Wait a minute. They're nanobots. They're from frogs. So you're gonna have a frog growing inside you?
No, it's not going to grow. It's just going to be like a couple cells.
Oh.
No, it won't grow. It won't act like life and multiply or mutate at all. It won't. No, trust us.
And it won't be like Ant-Man where they all like just like get into like the nooks. It'll be like little gremlins get into the nooks and crannies of like military planes and
more Magic School Bus.
Oh.
Which I'm not even going to start on how creepy that was. That was horrible. Hey, if you're an OTA antenna user, which I am, I have several in the house. We've got a couple here in the studios. Rescan your channels if you haven't already. We talked about this when it hit, I believe, a year ago, when the FCC sold off a whole bunch of frequencies to make room for some other stuff.
How many channels can you get?
Dude, I'm at like 150.
Like, no, from your antenna?
Yeah.
What?
So, and don't get me wrong, like it's not like, so what it is, it's about maybe the size of the, like half of this, the headphone amp.
Yeah.
The size of a sheet of paper.
And it sits, so the ones that you put up in the window are that size.
Does it use your house wiring as conduit?
And this sits on, it sits on the tabletop right next to the TV that I've got it hooked into. Like you don't have to have, like this particular one, you don't have to have near a window or anything like that. I think this one was like $90 as opposed to like the $40, $50 ones, which are the floppy ones you got to put up on a window.
Wait, so what other channels? Because you got,
there are
networks.
There are 4 different Fox stations. There's like, the normal Fox 2, then you've got like a Fox movie channel. There's a Fox retro channel, which is like, and there's a game show network. All the Channel 4 channels, all the Channel 7 channels, all that. I mean, it's all the local channels
3
plus
PBS channels.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
You can pick up CBC
they said,
stuff.
You said on this article that it said you got Laugh and Comet, which is comedy and sci-fi content.
Yeah. Dude, there's a bunch of stuff out there that's still broadcasting OTA that, I mean, if you're like, and if you've cut the cord and you're not using this as one of your options, you're kind of dumb.
Well, so what's rescan? I don't know what that means.
So when you set it up, when you first like plug it into your TV, the first thing you have to do is you tell it, hey, scan for channels. Because it's got to see, okay, what are all the signals that
when
I'm
you get
receiving?
when you get a new radio, and
But they've moved frequencies around for cell phone spectrum and stuff, so you have to rescan because
Got
channels
it.
have moved frequencies.
Yep.
And it looks like it's going to happen again in March again, so you have to do this again in
Yeah,
a few
this is
months.
probably another 1,000 channels are going to wind up moving. So yeah, I mean, and like I said, I mean, I pick up channels into Canada, down into Ohio, out into Flint. I mean, if you get one with a decent range, it's pretty solid. It's a very good option.
Huh. Interesting article came on. I finally got to do my first. I got to hire my first hire.
Okay.
Only had about 15 interviews with other people before I.
Yeah, I remember talking about those. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't lie on your resume, kids. Just you're gonna get asked.
Now you're understanding all the pain I was describing all those years.
Wait, so DNS is on your top skill on your resume says DNS, and you don't know what an A record or a C name is.
Yep. And there's the door.
Nice knowing you. Well, Wall Street Journal came out with something they're calling Hunger Games hiring, and I'm not going to lie.
Okay,
I'm not going to lie.
No. They're calling it cluster hiring.
Or cluster, yeah.
The article made the analogy of Hunger Games.
And I'm not going to lie. If I was ever put in a situation, knowingly, I would probably, I don't know at the time if I would get up and walk out, but basically what they're doing is like. They're telling a story right now. It's a prestigious independent research outfit in New York, called the Boyce Thompson Institute. And it was high-end scientists. This isn't like a situation where you're going to work at Amazon as a picker, right? It's you're going in as a scientist. And basically they brought in 13 of them at the same time. And basically it's almost like a goddamn brothel. Where you basically sat in front of everybody and they said, I like the one in the green jacket. Like, I don't, like, to me, and they're like, and they basically told them, don't one up the other one. This isn't about, they wanted to see how you collaborated with people and how you interacted and were you competitive but you don't know what they want. So you're going into this thing going, do I need to shine? Do I need to be a team player? Do I, because they don't give you the parameters.
Yeah, are you looking for a support player? Are you looking for a leader? Are you looking for, yeah.
You need a tank or you need a healer? Or
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Blue Warrior needs food.
You need DPS?
So, I mean, I hope this does not catch on because I want no part of it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not going to lie.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I've really made it a point being through that hellish
Yeah.
3-month interview process that I was with the company that rhymes with Schmoogle.
Yeah.
I'm basically, it's 2 interviews right now that we're doing. We have a recruiter that has to go through their vetting. Then we do a panel over the phone, and if that works, they do an in-person. And basically, all the subject matter experts basically ask 3 or 4 questions. We try not to make it weird. Most of it's kind of fun, like and then I ask culture questions and how they'd interact with the team, things like that, and then we say yes or no. Like, you know what I mean? That really needs to be. I'm not saying it's a perfect process, but
it's close to what it's close to what I run with.
Yeah, I mean, it's not sitting, in a like if I brought 13 engineers in and they look at each other and they're like, okay, you're to the death.
Take the most socially awkward people you can find on the planet,
right?
Throw them in a room together. Have at it.
Right. Well, I mean, it goes back to like your thing on team building. Like, there's a lot of things I'm learning because this is the first time I've ever had to do team building. And when someone talks about, like, I'm doing this whole big thing about Shaq don't shoot free throws. Like, so and so is not good at this, and I'm like, great, so and so is. Let them team up.
Yep.
I don't need him to be everything. Super friends, right? I don't need Superman to talk to fish. Aquaman's here. He'll talk to the fish. So I'm kind of like breaking down, like, when people are like, well, he needs to document more. I'm like, hey, the admin 1 loves documentation and learning. Let him team up with my engineer 3. You know what I mean? Like, crap like that. I mean, I don't know. To me, I don't know what I'm even talking about anymore. All I know is I'm not interviewing anyone like Hunger Games. Like,
well, then you're good. But speaking of Schmoogle, they are the, I believe, 3rd company now to break the $1 trillion valuation.
Market value. You know why? You know what they own? All the data. And what's the next?
The 4th. Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft are first.
And what's going to be the biggest commodity in the next 10, 20 years? Data.
Your emails and search history. That's what it's going to be.
That was my favorite conversation I had. Well, I don't do those Alexas. They know all too much. Did you ever go to activity.google.com? I delete that. No,
sure
you don't.
Sure you do.
No,
yeah,
you
and Snapchat deletes all the pictures, and that's exactly how that works.
What was the one thing I was like? I wish they had. We always do Wayback Machine for NFL drafts because we're nerds. Like for like with my football friends. I got
Detroit drafted Super Bowl quarterback.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was the Tigers who drafted someone who went on to play football.
He was never playing baseball. But like looking up what a stock would be worth, like okay, it's 2002. I had $1,000. I put it on Google. What's it worth today? Like, does that not exist? Because that would be awesome. Like, so I can kick myself more when I go to sleep on.
Well, I mean, any stock chart will show you historical information.
Yeah, but it's not going to show you splits and dividend payouts and what it would would look like through the transgression, through the.
I'm sure somebody's done it out there. They have to.
I've been looking.
Dude, this one, and then since Amazon just got mentioned, this one creeps me out. Like I don't understand why people are going more and more towards biometric shit because it just creeps me out. I feel like I'm the only one who ever saw Demolition Man, and I don't like it. Amazon wants you to pay with your Palm. And I don't mean your Palm Pilot.
No.
And I don't mean your Palm Pro.
No.
I mean the actual ridges, lines, and stuff of your hand. You can connect that to a credit card and just wave at a camera.
I guess it beats the shit out of it, putting a little chip in your hand. Like last week we talked about that.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that either. But dude, well, like, is it that complicated to take out a wallet and swipe a credit card, or to hold up your phone to use your wallet, or to is that where we are as a society right now?
Guess what business is going to pick up? Cutting off people's hands.
Again, I feel like Demolition Man. How'd he get out of the jail? There was a retinal scanner, and he popped the warden's eye out and had it on a pen.
Right. Mark Cuban's missing his right hand on Shark Tank. Why? Because someone just bought a whole shitload of stuff at
someone just bought
Amazon Pantry. Right. It's like, is that it though? Is there no 2-factor? Like, it's just palm?
Is your hand unique enough that that's
according to that? Well, I mean,
your fingerprints are.
Well, you've got the uniqueness of your fingerprints combined with the uniqueness of what's on your palm.
Fingerprints are 1 in 50,000. Face is 1 in a million. So.
Apparently.
Pull out your damn card and send me a text or a MFA notification on my mobile, and I hit yes, I'm buying something at the store. That's it.
Dude,
that is it.
I was just talking to somebody earlier. Like, I wish everything was as paranoid as Google was about sign-ins to my account.
Right.
It's instantaneous, but they're on it. Like, if I tried logging it, like I was trying to do something
Those
here
are
earlier.
emails though. I need a push notification.
No. I try to log into Gmail. Boop. Little note pops up right on my phone.
Oh.
Is this you trying to sign into Google? Yep, that's me. Or no, that's not me.
Yeah.
Why can't my credit card do that? Why?
Right. Or you get the text with the 7-digit number. I'm fine with that too. Are you spending $112 at TJ Maxx buying ripped
I'm happier
polo
with
jeans?
the little pop up, but I can.
I'll take either one.
I'll handle 2FA.
Right. I don't know why they don't. Here's the thing. It's
because there's money to be made in fraud.
Is that
yes,
what it is?
Yes.
Who's paying off? Like, that's my business. It's not like the weed stuff where Hillary Clinton comes out and goes, "There's too much money in legalizing drugs," like because you get to seize everything. Who's paying who off on this one?
I don't know. I'll hunt it down. I'm sure there's a Vice episode on it somewhere.
What's your? Do you remember? Do they ever tell you what your fishing rates are? And I'm not talking about like trout and bass. Do they ever tell you do they count your rates?
Yeah.
Like who clicks what?
Oh, yeah.
Shaming Susie for clicking something stupid.
The most we get is these are the departments with the lowest click-through rate. We don't get like who clicked the most.
So our average
that's what
is,
you get.
Yeah.
Your management might get different emails.
Yeah, that's what's broadcast publicly.
Yeah.
During fishing week, that there was coasters handed out, and there was gummy Swedish fish handed out, and it was on every TV, and there was on every newsletter, and we were still at like 11 or 12%. But like something came out with.
I like to see what they're trying to actually get people with, so I kind of want to click through to be like, what are they trying to get people to fall for? What are people dumb enough to fall for?
They're not even doing what I thought they were doing, which was like buying like a URL that kind of mocked or matched, like, you remember, what was it, like My Visa Card?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where it looked like your company, but it looked like a vanity URL or something. Yeah. They're not even doing that. It's just gibberish, like a bullshit URL. Right. But someone came out with the top 10.
Which was funny. I just got this today, and it was a text that came to my phone that said, and even, "Hello, Dave. Your FedEx package with tracking code yada yada is waiting for you to set delivery preferences, but it's to d7cmv.info/bit.ly URL."
It's a bit.ly,
yeah.
And I'm not clicking it.
No, and block
if I bought it, I told it where to ship it.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the number one was change a password required immediately. It was 26%. Basically, Microsoft Office 365 deaction of email and process.
Yeah, password was heavy because password check required.
Right,
was the other one.
Drop. This is one where I'm not going to say I fall for it, but it was like Dropbox or like a Google Drive document shared.
So share. So that was like both that one and the Teams one where, you know, and it was specifically like a name had shared a document with you. If I don't recognize the name, skeptical Dave is skeptical.
No. But what happens if it's from work or like, you know what I mean? Like it's from, it's from, you know, like.
Well, then they're going to get fired for using Dropbox to send company files around. That's what's going to happen.
Or just have them locked down. The interesting one was like Airbnb new device login. That was 6%.
Yeah.
And then Slack password reset for account. You know, basically it's all password. Your Cash App, your account's been closed. Yep. Coinbase. Oh, I can imagine them trying to hack into Coinbase. Please resolve error now. Could you take a look at this? Oh, then the proof point, the biggest one. Would you mind taking a look at this invoice?
Yeah.
And then so and so has shared a whiteboard with you from Microsoft.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. You know, again, if you're not savvy, just, you know, hover over the URL. If it looks bad,
do not click, hover.
Right.
Life's good. Yeah. Treat it like a woman in a lady's bathroom. Just hover. It's fine. So
you're a nest builder.
This is my favorite story. I love this. And we've talked about how stupid some of these accessibility rules are over the years. But yeah, Pornhub is getting sued by a deaf man, because they don't provide subtitles for all of their pornography that they have on their site.
Oh God, do me.
I'm picturing like, you know those memes where it's like, you know, they have the funny thing in the captions. I'm picturing like wild screaming, like or like pained expression. Like I'm just trying to like
moaning in Japanese.
Yeah, like what? Yeah, like what are you? Because they actually replied. They said we actually don't respond or we don't comment on pending lawsuits. But we would like to just point out that we do have a closed caption category that he's able to use.
Plus, isn't Pornhub user uploaded? Is YouTube responsible for YouTube videos that aren't captioned?
I don't think so.
So why is Pornhub different?
It's an option you can go for. Like that's one of the things they've added is the capability to do like an automated transcription thing.
What's the damages though? Like,
I mean, sometimes the plot is helpful.
Shut up, Randy.
Is it?
I'm trying to think of an analogy that would make any sense, and I can't. Like, my hamburger didn't have pickles on it, so I'm going to sue for damages. Like, since you didn't get pickles, it's not a good hamburger.
You bought me the free beer wasn't cold enough. You gave me an issue of Playboy that was in Russian, and I don't read Russian.
Right?
I what?
I wanted to read the jokes. Damn it.
Yeah, I got nothing on this. I just thought it was because we've talked about, like, you know, there actually is a standard out there where your website, technically speaking, is supposed to be accessible for blind people.
This would be deaf people, but yeah.
But I mean, I'm just saying there's a standard out there that says it, you know, the whole ADA thing when it comes to web interfaces, they're supposed to be accessible for, you know, blind people. And that's one of the reasons why you can't have voice navigation, you know, because of deaf people and that kind of stuff. And it's just
Braille at the drive-through.
I've always laughed about that, and that's just actually manufacturing laziness. I think we've talked about that before.
We totally have.
Why does the ATM at the drive-through have Braille on it? Well,
right,
because they only make one keyboard.
I don't care.
It just looks dumb.
Knock it off. I like technology and I like innovation. I'm a huge fan of pushing the envelope until it's stupid. And then this one, they're talking about. Digital transfer. I should have been turned off when I saw digital transformation.
I skimmed through this. I didn't even add it to my list. I couldn't bring myself to.
The one thing where I just want to tell them to stop is Toyota is launching an AR program that basically allows users to try out their cars without picking up the keys. They basically just put on goggles and they pretend they're in a car.
But it's not.
But
you're not.
That's not enough.
It's not even
see what it looks like inside, but you don't.
That's the whole point of a test drive, and that's that. Yeah, what are they?
Comfort or like cabin noise, or
and apparently now it's catching on. Like returns is a big problem. Like Amazon, like that's the crux of their bane of their existence.
If they would stop carrying everything that's listed in sizes that are made in China.
Oh, I just bought a sport coat that wouldn't fit you.
I probably wouldn't fit Mackie, I bet.
It was like it was fat guy in a little coat like times 10. It was like, oh shit. But like Target and Lowe's and Amazon, they're basically finding out that augmented reality AR is helpful in decreasing the numbers of returns they see from online shoppers.
I mean, I guess I can see it
furniture
for minor details.
25% of shit is sent back.
So, honestly,
25.
I believe that. But and I could see where if they could give you something where, you know what, okay, so you hook into, like I have goggles, you hook into my goggles and you let me see that couch I want to buy in my living room where I want to put it and see how it actually spatially
Can't
fits.
feel it.
Or
there's things that you need to, there's things like, okay, real estate, I think you still need to see it. But like if you put on goggles and got to do a walkthrough on a house, that's going to eliminate you needing to go see.
Yeah.
You know, you can also do it for home inspection too.
But you can't tell how comfortable a couch is by looking at it.
No, but you could at least see is it going to fit where I want to put it.
I keep wanting to buy this couch online, and my wife keeps screaming at me that it looks uncomfortable, and I'm like, I like it. I want to buy it. But I'm trying to think what, like I said, besides real estate and doing like a walkthrough, I don't know what else like AR, it's not going to stop returns. Like if there's a pair of jeans and they're a size 28 and I want to buy them and then they don't fit and I send them back, like how is augmented reality going to fix that?
No, it won't. It won't stop anything like that. Like I could see where like, some of the return issues where, it wasn't, it didn't look the way I thought it would based on that picture, or, it didn't look, or it didn't fit in with my decor, or it didn't, like stuff like I think I can see it helping to eliminate subjective reason returns.
Maybe we should sue Pornhub to do augmented reality for that.
They have AR.
Do they?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
He backpedals quickly.
I don't know.
I heard.
I thought we talked about that.
We did. No, but no. So no, I can see like the subjective reason. Yeah, I just don't like it, as opposed to like legitimate like where or concrete reasons where it's it doesn't fit, it doesn't it's not. But the subjective stuff like I just didn't like it once it was in the house or something like that. I think I could see it helping to eliminate that.
Good luck with that. And they're spending
yachts of money,
right?
Yachts and yachts of dollars.
God knows what, and that's something I'm not going to use. I was tempted to use the that creeped up quietly. If you're at Amazon Prime, the Whole Foods 2-hour delivery thing. That it came to my house. I didn't deliver it. I didn't order anything though, but that's a thing now. Mm-hmm. Someone mentioned it, and I'm like, I'm going to see if that's a thing.
I'm still good with Shipped.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm perfectly content.
I am
with
too.
Meijer.
I don't need.
They keep adding stuff. I got Meijer. I got Petco. I got pet store stuff that I can get delivered now. I got there's Target. I'm good.
That lampshade that you've always been needing.
Yeah. Well, but dude, here's me, and you know how I am when I walk into a store. The reason why I love Shipt for grocery shopping is it keeps me from over shopping. Like, I'm not wandering through the aisles going, I got to have 5 of those and 10 of those. And ooh, that cake looks good. Ooh, cookies. Ooh. Like, it cuts out.
It keeps me from having to get off my ass on the couch.
I mean, that too.
I mean, everyone's got their reasons.
Yeah.
No, like now it's like when it's time to buy like a case of water and a couple cases of pop, Shipt.
$35 minimum. God bless you.
Yeah. Here's another 5. Throw it in the kitchen so I don't have to move.
Right, exactly.
So what about your friends at Clearview?
At Clearview?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I didn't even write it down because that was the last thing I shot across. So there is literally an app that has a database larger than the FBI and most police departments all combined that is facial recognition based, where basically someone, and right now they say it's not accessible to the open public. Sure, it's not. I'm sure somebody has it out there.
So that doesn't make it better either.
Well, but so
this is the intro. This is the intro to the article. What if a stranger could snap your picture on the sidewalk and then use an app to quickly discover your name, address, and other details?
And this lets them do it.
They just made it happen.
They scrape public Facebook, Venmo pictures, and
it's currently used by hundreds of law enforcement agencies, including the FBI. Says the New York Times in a Saturday report.
Yeah, and they said, it's not open to the public now, but we expect it will be in the not-so-distant future.
Yeah, that's funny. The size of the database dwarfs others used by law enforcement. They have the FBI's, which taps passport and driver's license photos. It's got 641 million images of U.S. citizens. And this one dwarfs.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, not available to the public.
No. Trust us, they won't mutate.
No. Oh, boy. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break. Oh, go ahead.
Before we do that, hey, so Bank United wants you to go for more. Enter for a chance to win $54,000 if a team goes for and completes a 2-point conversion during the big game on February 2nd. All you have to do is follow at Bank United on Twitter and tweet at Bank United your answer to what you would do with $54,000 using the hashtag GoForMore54. That's GoForMore number 5 number 4. So everybody has a chance to win. The more tweets you send, the more chances you have of winning. And if a team completes a 2-point conversion, you can win. So again, follow Bank United on Twitter and tweet at Bank United your answer to what would you do with $54,000 using the hashtag GoForMore54. There is only one prize, so many may enter, but only one will win. Good old Highlander rules. There can be only one. Have to be at least 18 years of age to enter. So there's a disclaimer. For official rules, visit www.goformore54.com. That's GoForMore54.com. That's GoForMore and the number 54.com. Bank United, NA, member FDIC. Neither Twitter nor the NFL entities have offered, administered, endorsed, or sponsored this sweepstakes in any way. There. That's the first time we've had a disclaimer like that on one of our
MLS number
ad reads.
420.
I'm like, I almost kind of
número dos.
I kind of I almost kind of wanted to go into the old Matchbox guy voice. You remember the really fast talking Matchbox guy?
Oh yeah.
Or was it Hot Wheels? Was he?
No, it was. No,
he was like that. It was like that.
That was not from. Think about it during the break. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with Fred Molnar from the MEDC talking about tech startups, high tech startups. Should be a cool conversation. This is the IT in the D show.
Hey, we'll be right back.
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit, one beer at a time.
Hey, this is John Schneider from Nip Tuck Smallville, the haves and the have-nots. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Hot in Cleveland, Secret Life of the American Teenager, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And oh yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. You're listening to Bob and Dave. It's the IT in the D show.
ITinthed.com.
Hey, welcome back. Segment 2. This is episode 331 of the IT in the D show, broadcasting live here in Studio 1, Podcast Detroit, beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Bob, the sales guy, Dave, the geek, Randy, I do the Twitters, is doing the Twitters. Find us online, itinthed.com. You want to know why? Because we are IT in the D.
and you still aren't. And I actually had somebody call me out on that when we were here Sunday recording a bunch of episodes. Somebody said, I forget what I said, and they were like, wow, you really can be petty. And like the whole Shot of History crew was here, and like all of them dove in. They were like, oh, no. No, he's Tom Petty. Like, he still spends 20 to 30 seconds of every episode, every week, mocking someone who pissed them off 6 years ago.
And they still know it, too.
They do. Hey, before we dive in, Capital One knows that life doesn't alert you about your credit card. That's why they created Eno, the Capital One assistant that catches things that might look wrong with your credit card, like over-tipping, duplicate charges, or potential fraud, and then sends an alert to your phone and helps you fix it. It's another way Capital One is watching out for your money when you're not. Capital One, what's in your wallet? See CapitalOne.com for details.
I think we're a shit ton cheaper than Samuel L. Jackson. I can tell you that much right now. Capital Run spokesperson.
I'm just, I could read it as Samuel L. Jackson.
No, we're good.
It's your wallet, mother.
No. Hey, but we're very, very lucky to get someone here that had the day off today, but decided they were going to come in anyway. So we sincerely appreciate it. He's with the Michigan Economic Development Corp. That's the MEDC for you at home. He is the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Vice President, Fred Molnar. Thank you for putting up with our ridiculousness. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Bob.
Appreciate it. So, we're talking about, you got to send an email talking about things that I didn't even know existed. I'm really not familiar with not only aerospace, but things that are going on in the state. We're talking, and then you're talking about, there's thousands of high-tech startups across the state, and I kind of wanted to start there. We knew about like batteries and companies that are kind of building here, and we're starting to hear rumblings like auto manufacturers are calling themselves software companies now because there's more into coding than there is actually building a physical car. Mm-hmm. So I mean, when you're talking thousands of high-tech startups, I guess where do we start and where do we end? Is this just a broad spectrum, or I guess walk me through that?
Sure. Well, we're definitely technology agnostic. So we're not really focusing on any technologies, though there is a new MEDC strategic plan, which I can get into later. But the group that I lead, what we're trying to do is diversify the Michigan economy. People here in southeastern Michigan know we've been very auto-centric for
a little bit
years.
Little bit.
And of course, I grew up in Allen Park around Detroit.
Yep.
And when I was a young man, kid and everything, I saw the ups and downs of the auto industry. Like many of us did.
I've seen it, and I've only been here since '96.
Yeah, and it was brutal to watch. I had some good friends who, quite frankly, every single one of my friends their dads either worked in the auto industry or a supplier for the auto industry.
Well, you look at what it did to just streets like Updike and up in Wixom. Like, that was it was bigger than an entire city block. It was stretched for 2, 3, 4 city blocks. Shuts down, building is knocked down, and then everything that kind of
was around it is
gone.
Yeah. It was devastating. I remember, of course, the early Japanese invasion of the small cars and everything, and we were building the big muscle cars at the time. But long story short, what we're trying to do is diversify the Michigan economy, and that's through technology. So what we're trying to do, we don't have like an attraction program for early stage tech. So we're not trying to attract companies here. What we're trying to do is develop companies here, help companies develop.
See, I was going to say, which is funny because, like, there was that article that we just talked about, I think either last week or the week before, where both Detroit and Ann Arbor are top 10 locations for new tech startups. Like,
Yes.
I think top 5, if I recall correctly.
We'll go. Cost of living's low, and there's no poop on the sidewalk. Go figure.
Well, I mean, depends where you go.
Yeah, so there are really hot areas in the state, as you mentioned. Detroit right now is very hot for tech. Of course, Ann Arbor has been the basis of technology for the last 10 years plus. But there's other areas in the state. Grand Rapids is picking up. Lansing's doing really good, and actually up in the Upper Peninsula, Houghton Hancock, which is way up in the Keweenaw, is also doing really well with technology.
Really? Like,
what are they doing up there?
I was like, yeah, you hear UP, you don't think tech. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, you think of
Michigan Tech's up there.
Exactly. So you think of beautiful scenery, you think of wood products, you think of tourism.
Beef pasties.
Beef. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Smoked fish.
Yeah.
Painted rocks. Fudge.
But built around and what we're doing from the MEDC perspective is we're working with the universities around the state. So we have kind of 3 focus areas. One of them is the universities. And there is a research university, Michigan Tech University, as mentioned. And they, of course, spend a lot of time and energy, but they are a federally funded research university. In other words, the federal government gives them grants to do basic research. Okay. And through that basic research, what we're trying to do is pull technology that they work on and commercialize that. Okay.
Gotcha.
And so that's why up in Houghton Hancock, they're doing a really good job with that.
Well, and I think that's been one of the biggest issues this region faces and has faced for quite some time. And we've talked about it. I can't even remember how many times. I mean, the brain drain that hit here, back when the economy tanked in 08, 09, 2010, and then continues to hit here as, kids get out of school and don't want to stay here. And so they're heading for the coasts. They're heading for Chicago. They're heading for, and I think that's the
Austin, huge.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a big thing where in many cases they don't even know that stuff like this exists.
This is true. And we're I mean, that's still a real problem. There's no doubt about it. And one of the things that we see is a lack of talent. So we have a lot of great companies starting up, great ideas, technology companies. But what happens is the founder may be very smart in whatever, physics or biochemistry or whatever, right? But they don't have the business experience. And so they can only take the company to a certain level and then the company can stall out because, it's school of hard knocks, a lot of it, right? And so experience. And what I'm seeing, which is very encouraging to me, is I'm seeing a lot of people that have left the state, okay, because they think the pastures are greener elsewhere. They go to D.C., they go to New York, they go to Austin, they go to Bay Area, whatever. But at some point, they find their significant other, right? And they have kids and they go, you know what? Michigan was a great place to live. It's a great place to raise kids. Bob, you mentioned the cost of living and everything. And so they can earn a very good living here. And they want to move back. And so we're seeing a lot of people trying to come back to the state. And that's what we're trying to do is find them, companies, obviously, that at the level they want to.
Yeah, I think it was like probably 2013, like late 2013, early 2014, when we started seeing a lot more messages from people about, hey, I hear it's gotten better, thinking about coming back. How do I make that work? So, I mean, I totally wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If you look at, if you talk to anybody, if we go to any of our meetups and go, did you realize there was, I'm reading one of the companies you guys are working with, space technologies in their name, and they're basically making plasma thrusters to start up satellite companies. And if you were to ask anyone, did you think that this even existed in the state of Michigan? They were like, no.
Like, are they building Voltron?
Right. That's the first thing I said to Fred when I go, what the hell is a plasma thruster? And he's like, uses plasma gas. I'm like, what? Like, this is so far over my head, I guess. How did they end up in Michigan? And I guess talk to me about them.
Yeah. So it's a great story. It's an absolute fantastic story. This again is a technology spun out of a university up at Michigan Tech, up in Houghton Hancock, as far as you can go in the UP, Keweenaw Peninsula. And here they are building rocket engines for satellites.
And if they're listening, by the way, sorry about your Packers, you traitors. They're all Packer fans in the UP.
This is true.
Are you sorry?
No, absolutely not sorry. Rodgers sucks. Sorry, Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, so there is a gentleman named Brad King, one of the founders of the company. And he is literally a rocket scientist. I mean, he has a business card and it says rocket scientist, but he is actually a rocket scientist.
I mean, I can get one of those too.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a model rocket scientist. I was really good with those.
And so there's these things that are called smart zones spread across the state.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 21 of these. Won't go into too much detail, but one of them is up in Houghton Hancock. And the idea of a smart zone, and the local ones you probably heard of Techtown. You might have heard of Techtown, Detroit, Ann Arbor Spark,
yep.
Automation Alley up in Troy, et cetera. So these are all over the state. And what their objective is economic development, of course, technology economic development. So they're legislatively formed geographic areas like a research park, and they're allowed to collect taxes in that park, and those taxes have to be used for tech entrepreneurship. Okay, awesome idea. It's working fantastic across the state. So this gentleman, rocket scientist, had this idea, can I turn this into a company? So he went to the local smart zone, and of course, he's a rocket scientist, not a business person, but they're business people. So between the two of them, they put together a plan to create a company called Orbian Space I think it's Orbian Space Technologies, and helped him get it off the ground. And they received,
so to speak.
Yes, perfect. That's very good, very good. Good job. And people have asked him, well, why are you up in the UP? And his perfect answer is, well, the UPs is as close to space as Florida or California.
Do you ever remember?
Distance.
Do you ever remember when the show first started, and I always screamed about outsourcing rural?
Yeah,
because I was in the VSAT, doing satellite parts for back in like 2004, and we went to a manufacturing plant in the middle of nowhere, mid-Michigan. But they were making $10, they're $12 an hour, and they were ecstatic making that kind of money because the small house, and I'm like, oh my God, like, why are we shipping jobs overseas? Why don't we outsource rural and make that a thing? So yeah, hearing this, I bet you that, part of it is just, outsourcing rural.
Yeah. And they're getting high quality people coming in, like an earlier discussion, from outside of the state because they want to live in the UP. If you've ever been to Keweenaw Peninsula, it's a beautiful part of the state.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Gorgeous place. Yep.
How's the flooding rebuilding going?
Pretty good, actually. Last time I was up there, which was a couple of months ago, it's come a long way. Yep.
So where do you, when you talk about there's no really start and stop, but what, something to, if you're a tech startup and you want to catch, the MEDC's eye and getting either a grant or I guess what's going to catch your eye? Is it, building nanotech? Is it software? Is it something unique? I guess what's some criteria you guys are looking for that check those boxes?
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, the MEDC, just so I'm clear, we don't actually give grants to companies. Okay. So the way we work through third parties. So in other words, if we want to do an early stage fund, we have one called the First Capital Fund or the Pre-Seed Fund. We put out an RFP, request for proposal, and people bid on it. And then we say, this is what we want to have accomplished. And we let professionals do that. So in this case, you might have heard of Invest Detroit. Okay. Invest Detroit does our First Capital Fund, and that's up to $150,000. Essentially it's a convertible debt. And then the pre-seed's up to $500,000, but that's how we work. So we have professionals manage the money. We don't do direct grant to a company. But as far as what gets funded, there's a lot of variables. Obviously, we're in it for economic development. Okay. So we're not in it for the founders to make a lot of money. We're not in it for Invest Detroit, isn't it, to make a lot of money. It's all about economic development. So if there's a path for the company to grow here in the state of Michigan and hire people and pay a really good wage, that's what we're looking for. So that's really the primary objective.
Well, and that's what you need. I mean, you need, and that's, that's kind of the point of changing the focal point of the economy is you need those new economic engines to take.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, that's the issue. I mean, the economic engine of the automotive industry died, or 5 of 6 cylinders are gone, and so it's not, as reliable as it used to be. And so if you're going to have, we've had this conversation a bunch where like Michigan was pretty much the walking, talking definition of middle class for the longest time. And that's eroded very hard and heavily. Like because you don't have those engines powering that anymore.
Very true. Very true. And it's sad to see, right? And so what we're trying to do obviously is bring back good paying jobs. Yep.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of the things I was thinking about also, I was just looking at all the emerging tech stuff and some of the things, I brought it up right off the bat. It was all these battery companies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've heard a thing for 9 months. Is this still is this still a thing in the state where we're trying to build like that next gen battery for the electric car? I guess where does that all sit?
Yeah. So, there was I think it was this was before my time, but I believe in the Granholm era when she was governor, there was quite a bit of focus on battery technology. And it might have been too early because it never really panned out very well. But Western Michigan around Holland has got a couple good, really early stage battery companies that may get some legs. So I don't think from a state perspective, we've, given up on that.
Well, it's the kind of thing that has a long lead time. I mean, those things have incredibly lengthy test cycles on them. Like it's not like you don't, hey, we're going to build a plant and start cranking out batteries and they're going to hit the market in 6 months. Like that's a few year initiative, I'm sure.
Well, you look at Rivian getting all, what did they get, $100 million from Amazon? Definitely something to hang or to plant a flag on, just saying, hey, look what we're doing here. Look at, between like, Duo being valued at $1 billion and things like Rivian,
getting bought, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is, it's some great success stories that I think shocked Silicon Valley, especially when Duo, hit the $1 billion valuation, got bought. That's something that's not heard of.
Well, and it's the same conversation, you used to have with, a lot of your peers at one of your prior gigs where, I remember you saying you'd be on those conference calls, and this kind of gets back to, just some of the positives that Michigan has to offer. Your peers in New York and Boston and LA would be bitching about, salary and not making enough money and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm good.
Right.
Yep. Most definitely. Getting back to the battery, there is a big federally funded and MEDC funded, partially battery lab at the University of Michigan, and they're looking at solid state batteries. Like you said, it's a long lead time, but who knows what could come out of that, right?
Well, and and it's not like the automotive industry is dead because you do still have all of the connected car technology and all of the, whether it's, not necessarily autonomous, but, all the, the steps to autonomous and everything else. A lot of that is going on here. I mean, there are, testing centers, testing basically fake cities that have been built around the area, to test some of this technology. And it's kind of cool to see that happen here as well.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a huge investment by the state of Michigan, through the MEDC and MDOT and others, Michigan Department of Transportation, and others in the automobile industry, because obviously it's been the focal point for the state for years, and we are the leader. Granted, it's I think everyone would agree it's gone down considerably, but we're still the leader in automotive technology, and we're actually the leader right now in mobility. When you look at Detroit, and then you look at the ACM, the Automobile Center for Mobility out in Ypsilanti, and then the M-City out at the University of Michigan and other places, there's a lot of energy right now put up into mobility. And actually, the MEDC has a brand new strategic plan, which we've been just rolling out. And one of the focus areas is mobility, which you would imagine is correct. One of the other areas is advanced manufacturing, because we make things really, really well in the state, and we always have. Another focus is medical devices. So we have a very strong, actually, medical device. A lot of it is in Western Michigan. You think of Spreaker and other companies.
We've actually had a few startups on here for medical devices now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so, but that's
Stryker.
kind of
Stryker.
Yeah. And that's, that's also advanced manufacturing too. A lot of the medical devices.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, where our strengths are right now.
So it's going to be interesting. I'm curious to get your take on it. If you don't have one, that's fine. You can tell me I'm stupid. The biggest issue right now with autonomous vehicles and getting these LiDARs, and they have these big, huge servers in the trunk, is when at the end of the day, when they're collecting all this data, is getting it uploaded into a data center. And what they're doing now is they're pulling these drives out and they're shipping them via FedEx to data centers. And the next 2-3 days, they're uploading this 20 terabyte or whatever, God knows how much data is coming. So 5G now, we talked about, the government's trying to give $1 billion away or something for 5G.
R&D here. Yeah.
For R&D here to compete with Huawei and to get ahead of the curve on that, which is we hear it's going to be the devil, then we also hear it's going to be our savior.
Right.
I'm just curious is there anybody making headway in that department, on the 5G or in the data collection for LiDAR?
Not from an MEDC perspective. I'm sure it's happening around, but we're not involved in that at this point.
All right. It's just something that, I've been following for a long time. We're doing some projects with some other companies in Germany because they're, the data collection part, like I said, it's insane how much data these things are collecting.
Mm-hmm.
So how does one find out about these zones? How does one find out about, applying for one of these grant programs, that kind of stuff? Like where do people, how you got an idea, where do you go?
Yeah. So certainly if you're in a university, so let's say, you're still at a university, either, a postdoc or whatever, you have an idea at a university, or you're actually working professor at a university, you would work with your Office of Technology Transfer. Okay. So if you have an idea, that's where you would start. And then from there, we have 3 or 4 university programs. So we, about a third of our budget, the MEDC entrepreneurship budget, we have about a $16 million budget. About a third of it goes to universities. And there, again, we're trying to take technology and move it along to the point where it can be hopefully commercialized. And then hopefully it's strong enough to start a company. Okay. So that's one of the places we go. So if you're at a university, go to your Office of Technology Transfer. If you're outside of a university and you have a tech idea, you'd go to one of your local smart zones. Okay. And again, there's 21 of those smart zones. But if you go to michiganbusiness.org /entrepreneurship, that will connect you to all our programs that we have. And they're considerable. I truly believe from a nationwide perspective, the state of Michigan's tech entrepreneurship programs are one of the best in the country, without a doubt.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just to clarify, because we do our demographics are a lot weirder than we ever thought they were. Just tech stuff or other stuff?
Yes. So it is. So the group that I lead is just tech.
Okay.
There is a separate group at the MEDC that handles let's call it traditional entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So if you wanted to, start a restaurant or, hair salon or grocery store, whatever,
Gotcha.
Traditional business, there is a group that helps support that.
Same basic website and just start there?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
You could go there, go to the MEDC website, michiganbusiness.org, and you'll be connected to those resources.
Okay. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Fred, seriously appreciate coming here on your day off and spending some time with us. Definitely, keep us in, and if you got any cool stories about any emerging companies, we'd love to have you back sometime, and appreciate the time you spent with us.
Great. My pleasure. Thank you, gentlemen.
Absolutely. So, hey, this is going to wrap episode 331 up for the IT and the D show. I'd like to thank Fred Molnar from the MEDC. Appreciate definitely the insights and the stories given on some cool new companies coming here to the state of Michigan and how to be involved in them. I guess on behalf of Bob, Dave, and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.
See you guys.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women.
Long live Flash. You've saved your life. Have a nice day.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy. Make the run. The run.
Game over, man. It's game over.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.